The day she died, we told them that she's dead. They know, they know she's dead, but they cried. My son cried that day. Even the little sister, the little one is 7, he's 10. He also cried. But in the days afterwards, the little one kept expecting her sister to come back from the hospital. She kept saying, "Oh, Isola is in the hospital. When is she coming back?" She fell. Who pushed her? Who pushed her to fall down? If somebody falls down, they stand up. Why did she fall down and have to go to the hospital? When do we go to the hospital to see her?
And
That's
those
7-year-old. For my son, for the first few days, he just locked up. I tried getting him to talk. I called him and I told him, you do realize Desola is not coming back. And he just nods. And how does that make you feel? He goes like this. But the day she was buried, when we got back from the cemetery, we were all in the parlor, we had guests, people were around. He was upstairs in his room. And then suddenly I heard a loud scream. He just screamed. And we thought something was wrong. And we ran upstairs. And then we saw him and I said, "What is the problem?" And he said, Desola, where is Desola? I want to see Desola right now. Desola, And he was literally shaken. And the father had to carry him, take him privately to his room and talk to him. And that thing happened twice in one day. That was on Thursday of last week. And then on Saturday, it happened. He had such episodes, and he had another episode on Sunday. So I think it's just dawning on him now the full importance of what happened.
that really taps on the heart, and I hope that you and your family gets the help that you need. Now we are learning that the autopsy report says that Whitney died of asphyxia and electrocution. This is something that you had suspected from the beginning. On receiving the news of the autopsy report, take us through events that unraveled after that.
Well, when we got the autopsy results, I would not say I was shocked. I was not even surprised. But when something confirms your fear, and now the scene plays out in your head. You now imagine, oh, she was walking, and then she touched something, or her body parts touched something, and she fell. And she must have called out, "Daddy," or she called out, "Mommy," and you were not there to save your child. And then you imagine her jerking, up until the moment, maybe when water touched her and she ceased breathing completely. And you as a parent, you're not there to help your child. So when we got the autopsy result, it was like another book, another page of horrors opened up. It's
I see. Now, since then, the school has written a statement to apologize, and a few of the things that the school said include: the management of Chrisland School is aware of the developments around the autopsy reports. We are deeply saddened and sorry about Whitney's death. We are remorseful and sorry to Whitney's parents. What does this mean to you as mother of Whitney?
It's a joke. It's an insult. It's like rubbing salt in the wound. It's the height of narcissism. It's gaslighting. That is because a few days ago they had a PTA meeting. And a parent told me that Mr. Adeyemi, the director of education, was still insisting at that meeting that my child was a sickly child. That was a few days ago. A day to them releasing that fake apology. What are they sorry for exactly? When I saw that apology, I was infuriated because the first one they used my daughter's picture. Are you trying to use that picture to gather sympathy or what? When talking to parents outside of social media, Mr. Adeyemi especially sounds very haughty and prideful, and she sounds as if all this whole drama is getting her annoyed and exhausted because, like, how dare my child die and affect their school, that haughty character. So I've heard her speak on several occasions about the issue, and you sense that sense of pride and arrogancy in her. And then on social media, they're giving a whole different story. I didn't feel comfortable with that. That was insulting. It was a slap to my face. The school, up till this moment, are insisting on another autopsy.
Well, is this in spite of their denial that they don't plan to exhume?
When court yesterday, and I don't know if your TV station was among those at the court, but I'm aware some blogs have carried it this morning, confirming it. Their lawyer said they wanted an independent autopsy. They were bringing in somebody from, I don't know, US or UK to come and have another autopsy.
And again, and I apologize for cutting you, but on that subject, we also know that during the Lagos State autopsy, representatives of the school were there because your counsel made mention of that in court. But away from court, it would seem that your relationship or interaction with the school have been few and far between, and also very sour. Talk to us about how you're going through that, and your relationship with the school as well.
Well, the thing is, I never wanted this to be an issue where we'll start dragging ourselves all over social media. I came on social media because the school was not hearing what I was saying. I came on social media to draw attention to the problem. And the problem is Chrisland was refusing to take responsibility. They were refusing to even involve themselves in any way. All they were telling me was she was sick, she slumped, she died. We don't have any fault in it. We don't have any part to play. We don't have any blame in it. We did everything we could as a school to save her life. So yeah, your child was sick. She died. That is your problem. Deal with it. And that is the narrative they keep pushing up to this moment, that they want another autopsy to corroborate the fact that she was sick. That is what they are pushing for now. So they are not in any way sorry or apologetic that an accident happened within your vicinity, under your care, and it cost the life of a child. What they care about is their reputation, how the school is seen, how the school is projected. It's so very important to them. So much so, their counsel mentioned to the judge yesterday that we should be shut down on social media because it is not right for us to be posting about the issue or talking about the issue on social media.
Talk to us about the kind of support you and your family will need in this very difficult time you happen to find yourself.
We need prayers. We need prayers. We need to keep this issue open until we get what we want. Remember, we're in court now for the coroner's inquest. And the coroner's inquest is not me suing Chrisland. The government has not sued Chrisland. Nothing has been done yet. What we are in court for now is to get the coroner's inquest. We need prayers. I need this to continue being talked about. I don't want my daughter's death to be swept under the carpet or under the rug. I want it to be something that we constantly keep in mind, constantly keep it in our faces. The faces of the dead will not be hidden. Her face will be there constantly. I will talk about her. Right now, it's something that I'm giving my time and my attention. I will know from Chrisland. Chrisland will tell me what happened to the daughter I left in their care on February 9th. They picked my daughter healthy for me. She had no sickness whatsoever. She is fine. She was fine when they picked her up. And died under their care. So they would tell me what happened that killed her. So whatever games they want to play, they are free to play. Whoever they want to call, they are free to call. Whatever they want to do, that is their business. But after all said and done, Nigerians should please, Africa, the world. I want this issue to be torchlighted. I want the spotlights on this issue until I get justice for my daughter. And not just for my daughter, for the other children who have been silenced. For the other children who cannot talk. This is not just my fight. For parents that are attacking me, this is not just my fight. I'm fighting for your child. Like I said, my daughter was the scapegoat. She was sacrificial lamb. I am fighting so that your child would have a fighting chance if such a thing ever happens.
So Blessing, thank you for the clarification on the court matter, which then brings to mind the question, does your family plan to take any kind of legal action beyond the coroner's inquest against the school? Talk to us about those plans.
Yes, I don't have full disclosure on that yet. I don't even have specific details on it yet. I know when the time is right, the lawyer will advise on what to do. But I'm assuring you that I personally, I will sue Chrisland for the death of my child.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Do accept our condolences, and we will keep talking about this matter.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Human rights lawyer, Mary Ogwiji. Mary, you've been listening to the conversation I've had with her. This issue has evolved over time. What are your thoughts about the changing face of the matter?
Okay, when I was listening to her, I was really saddened, and I can only but sympathize with her at this point because there's actually nothing we can do to correct some of these measures. And one of the things that actually saddened me is that most schools and in Nigeria generally, we are not proactive. We are always reactive. Because if measures, the right measures were put in place, this whole scenario would not have happened in the first place. And if you ask me, I would say the school was highly negligent because there were many things that they were supposed to look out for. And one of the questions that kept bothering me, and I really would have loved to ask her, was the whole electrocution process, the connection. Who did the connection? Was it the stadium where that was hired? Or was it the school that actually called the electrician to do the connection? Because when you are putting up those connections, putting in mind that they are children, you have to take extra care because children are under they are under the special needs class, especially when it comes to hosting an event. And when there are children coming in, you need to be extra careful of the kind of things you put in an event. And why would they actually put a naked wire along the line or along the route where children will have to run past? And it got me confused, especially when I heard that they poured water on her. And everybody knows that water is a good conductor of electricity. They were highly negligent. There were no nurses. There were no paramedics of any kind. There was no first aid. You just see a child on the ground. The first thing you do was to pour water on her. I think that's what must have actually heightened or even quickened her death.
And to think that, because from the very get-go, there were people around who were told the mother that she didn't just slump. She could have been electrocuted at the stand where she was. And the event went on without any acknowledgement of what had happened to even protect other children. That is a source of worry, isn't it? It says something about the mindset there, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It actually shows neglect of the highest order. It actually shows very little care for the persons, for the students, for the pupils, because the woman, witness mother, actually stated that she was at the stadium from the beginning to the end. And from what she said, there was no alarm. There was nothing that showed that anything happened. That was loss of life. That was a human life that was lost there. And it just happened as if nothing happened. And I actually feel like that was very wrong of the school. Because one, just like you stated, they were supposed to alert and create that avenue to make sure that no other child actually gets electrocuted. Because even as it is now, I think that's one of the reasons that actually annoying the parents of Whitney, because everybody will want to know, how was my child electrocuted? Was it that she stepped on a naked wire? How did the naked wire, or how did the wire come to a field? Or how did it happen? I don't think that's too much. They're not asking for so much from the school. And generally, there's what we call occupiers liability. And the occupiers liability actually places liability on the owners of the field, the stadium that was actually used. Where did they actually put in the right measures before renting out the place? Like, for example, if they were the ones that actually called their electrician, did they do like a pre-check? Did they check that, okay, everything, all the T's were dotted, all the T's were crossed, the I's were dotted when it comes to checkmating? If they had railings, for example, children were coming, is there any likelihood that they would fall off? If there are electric wires, like this particular case, where if there were electric wires, where they should have been checked properly, because it gets me wondering. Children are coming; they are not adults. They are not they are not trained people. They are not trained personnel in any way. They are children. There were even persons that were even younger than Whitney there. What were the measures put in place by the school? Was there any pre-assessment? Was there anybody from the school sent to the field to actually check these things? Okay, we are coming for house sports. You are supposed to come and check, even as little as nails, as little as pins, things that could actually prick children. They were very important things. This is life we are talking about. Yes, the Constitution actually makes sure that everybody's life is safeguarded. When you say right to life, we are not just saying you pointing a gun at somebody. When you omit to act, you are actually facilitating an action. So anything that actually results from your omission to act, it's on its own an offense. And if you ask me, Chrisland school actually omitted to do a lot of things. You are bringing students in that large number. There was no emergency. There was no ambulance. I remember in my secondary school, whenever we have inter-house sports, we have a session where we have nurses, doctors, and everything just right at the corner there. We even have glucose. We have first aid personnel there waiting to just attend to students just in case they follow. Was there anything like that?